made it.
Awesome.
Uluru, it is really what we refer to as the ultimate trip that you can do as an Aussie or anyone that's really travelling to Australia. This is your rite of passage to say, I've been to the centre of Australia and back.
It is. Well, it's the beating heart of Australia, and you see it and you feel it when you're out there, and it's like nowhere else that we have travelled across this country. Getting there is amazing. The destinations along the way are incredible, and then once you are out there, it's a place that you don't ever really want to leave. Well, certainly that's how we feel.
It reminds me of a question about, are you about the journey or the destination? And I think I'm probably more a journey person.
Yeah, I think so too, which is interesting because I think when we first started our travel, we were probably more about the destination, thinking that was the ultimate.
Yeah.
But this trip alone has proven to us that it really is the journey. It's the people that you meet, the places that you discover, the experiences that you have along the way, that all of that combines to create the most epic adventure.
Yep, and those memories that are going to last with you a lifetime. And that is really what we have decided is the main purpose of what we're doing. It's so that, down the track when Jasper's out there and he's got his own family and travelling the world and we're pining, yes, we're not coping, that we'll be able to look back on this, these little time capsules of this incredible adventure together as a family and just be back there, being able to relive it. So that's the best bit about it.
So thankful. So welcome to our Uluru wrap-up.
Yes. All right, 28 days. What are they thinking? We have had so many questions about this, like, why would you do it in 4 weeks? And this really came about, look, we're coming up to 4 years full-time travelling as a family around, what is the world's best backyard, Australia. And we really wanted to answer the questions that have come in around, well, I've only got 4 weeks leave.
Yeah.
The kids are full-time in school. I'm full-time at work. Can you actually get to Uluru? Can you see some of these epic destinations, landscapes, wildlife experiences in a 4-week period? Can we do it safely? And the answer is yes. So that's what we decided to set out to do. Write an itinerary that left from the East Coast for us, our hometown of the Gold Coast, return in 28 days. Are we tired? Yes.
But awesome time.
But we're working full-time as well as we're going. So our days were, get up at 5, edit for 2 hours, record a podcast. If you haven't already logged on and checked out our podcast,
what are you doing? Yeah.
Available in 82 countries. Well, we're listened to in 82 countries now. It is free. It is, fantastic. It's us just really having a good chin wag about the week that's been. But yeah, so working full time and then travelling, for 400 kilometres average a day, and then getting out, seeing the sights, have delights, take the photos, videos, and then go to sleep and do it again is epic.
Yes.
But if you're not working and you really are doing this as an adventure of a lifetime, you will love it and you will absolutely thrive, and so will your family or your travel companion.
Definitely. So if you've been thinking about it, you've got to put it on your list and start to take some steps towards making it happen. And if you haven't been thinking about it, then hopefully this series, go back and watch the YouTube episodes, and what we talk about in this video will entice you to want to get out and explore.
And inspire you as well, because there are some things that we're going to touch on briefly around, the fear of the unknown. Don't let that ever stop you doing anything, we think, unless it's
crazy.
Yeah, jumping out of a plane without a parachute. Don't do that. Yes. But yeah, this is an adventure in Australia that is just the ultimate travel itinerary, we think.
And that's a good point. So we stuck to the bitumen for the most part. We wanted to make it accessible and available to everybody, no matter what mode of transport you are travelling in. And we'll talk about some of the modes of transport that we saw en route from other travellers as well. Let's get into it, Paulie.
Okay. Now, first I want to mention is that Katie has been creating in the background while I have been, editing. She's also there, crazy busy, putting together this ebook around Uluru, the journey to the heart of Australia. So if you want to get your hands on that, it has unlimited amount of clickable links, all the apps, maps, resources, everything you need to know before you go, safety, I mean, you name it, it is all in the ebook for the cost of less than one night's camping.
Yeah, how awesome is that? The hardest part about putting this together was choosing which photos to include, because we literally took thousands of incredible images on this journey, and every destination is so spectacular. But it'll include all of the details of everywhere that we stayed, all the experiences that we did, the costs, the national parks passes, anything that is going to add value to your planning to get out and do this trip is in this ebook.
Fantastic, and that is available through our website, thefeelgoodfamily.com.
Awesome. All right, so
Here we
let's get into it. So in total, let's talk about the total kilometres over that 28-day period.
Okay, I think I got this right. It was 7,793 kilometres travelled.
Yes, you did get it right. And look, I've got my phone on my lap because we took so many notes while we were doing this road trip to keep a track of all of the details so that we could do this and give you all of this information, but also so that we can remember. So that's what I'm looking at on my lap. 7,793 kilometres from the Gold Coast return.
Now,
Pretty
do
cool.
we want to talk about the elephant in the room, and that is the most expensive part of this trip is fuel?
Sure.
Okay, this seemed to be quite a big one for a lot of people. The Battle of the Bowser, all right? Now, basically, the total cost for us to do that 7,793 kilometres
Are you sitting down?
was $3,751.70. Yes, you heard me right. The total litres used was 1,751.47 litres, which equates to exactly what we thought when we set off, 22.47 litres per 100 kilometres. Okay, and that's averaged out across that entire time. So 22.5 litres of diesel per 100 kilometres travelled, with an average cost of $2.14 per litre.
Yeah.
Now, I hope you are still sitting down, because the most expensive fuel was out at Curtin Springs.
Oof.
Yep, that's a station there just east of Uluru, or Yulara, the Rock. And it is also about a 1 million acre property, cattle property.
Yep.
The price there was $3.29.9 a litre for diesel.
Yeah, that was scary. And I mean, we knew something like that was coming, and we knew that we would be in the high twos, and we gradually climbed the further remote we got. But to have that shock of almost $3.30 a litre.
It was 70 cents a litre dearer than any other stop.
Yeah, even at Uluru.
Yeah. Okay, and do we sound like we're complaining about it? Look, it hurts when you're paying anything really over $2 a litre, we think. It's just ridiculous. But you are literally in the centre of Australia, and you can't travel without it. So you've got to suck it up, get over it, and get on with it, and pump it in.
Yeah.
Yes, and then ring ANZ and ask for a loan. But that's basically it. Yeah, you've got to get on with it.
Well, you do, especially, it's a road trip. You need fuel. That's how you're going to get there. So it was our biggest expense for the entire trip. Fuel, or diesel for us, was our biggest expense, more than accommodation, food, experiences put together. But again, 28 days, travelling every single day, that amount of kilometres, you know what you're in for.
Okay, the cheapest fuel was just on this last leg, which was at Miles in Queensland. It was a BP. It was $1.78.9 a litre. So you can see how when you've got that sort of value there, and then $3.30, when you average it out, coming into $2.14 per litre, that's why it blew out a little bit. I thought we might be hovering around $2 a litre for average, but anyway, there you go.
I have to say, we got tipped off about the cheapest fuel in Miles, didn't we? Which was awesome.
Yes, thank you to Graham out there at Charleville Bush Camp for giving us the word up. So.
Yeah, he said, keep driving till you get to Miles and fill up there. And that was awesome. Now, let's just quickly talk about our route. We did leave from the Gold Coast.
Yep.
We did what we call a mini lap, a half lap of Australia, and we basically headed south down through country New South Wales, out to Broken Hill in Outback New South Wales, and we crossed...
Love the Broken Hill.
Oh.
Gee, it's an amazing place.
What is mind-blowing about this trip is that every region, every state is completely different. Every outback is different. You are going to see changing landscapes and just so much beauty along the way. Okay, so we crossed over the border there between Outback New South Wales and South Australia. We headed through country, South Australia, to Port Augusta, and then of course we turned up, headed north, and followed that Stewart Highway basically all the way over the Northern Territory border until we found Uluru. And then on the return trip, we continued to head north, Tennant Creek, then, as you said, Paul, we chucked a right onto the Barkley Highway and started to track east back towards the Queensland border, making our way via Mount Isa, Cloncurry, down to Winton in Outback Queensland.
God, we love Winton as well.
Charleville,
Highlights.
Chinchilla, amazing. So much amazing stuff. And in our ebook, we will actually show you that map that we did and how easy it is for you to join those routes no matter where you are on the East Coast.
Fantastic. And again, on bitumen, okay?
On bitumen.
So this is really, we refer to it as the best road trip you can do in Australia on bitumen.
Yep, totally.
All right.
Now, we average
Except for that 21 kilometres where we took a wrong turn, if you'd been watching the series.
Well, they're upgrading the roads, so we believe. Okay, we averaged 350 to 400 kilometres a day. Our biggest day, though, was about 520 kilometres.
I think that's right, yeah.
We had a change of plan that day, and so we pushed on further. Our shortest days were around the 300k mark.
On that, whether you're travelling with kids or not, or independent, great suggestion from us and recommendation would be to leave around 7:30 in the morning, particularly if it's winter, because the sun isn't coming up till rather late.
Yeah.
So you miss that kind of kangaroo golden hour, which is very important. You don't want to hit one of those.
And it's chilly. It's very chilly out there at that time of year.
It is, down to 0 degrees. Well, the coldest we got, I think, was only maybe 3 or 4 degrees at Alice Springs. So
I was lying, doll. I'm telling you, it was colder than that.
It was freezing. So yes, and then if you're travelling at 7 a.m, under tow, 400 kilometres is still going to take you 6 hours. And that's because you're stopping for... We always stop for a cup of tea every hour and a half or thereabouts, 2 hours. We always stop for a cuppa.
Yeah.
But get him out, get that energy out, and then get him back in the car, and he's sweet.
Yeah, we actually fell into quite a good pattern of travel on this trip where we were doing that and then finding that we did have a few hours of an afternoon to, well, obviously for us, get out and film so we can share it with you, but also to enjoy being in the location.
Yes.
So unusual for us to leave so early of a morning, but I think we should try and replicate that more often.
Well, look, then you're hopefully getting there for a bit of a later lunch, 1:30, you're having your lunch then, and then you enjoy the afternoon, get a sunset, get to experience the local area, and then boom, you're back into it the next day. There were obviously sections of this itinerary where we stayed for 2 or 3 nights in one place, like at Uluru or Kings Canyon or Alice Springs or Winton. So the way we've written the itinerary allows you to probably maximise the most of the real highlights as well.
Exactly. That's a really good point. We kind of did overnighters most of the way, getting out to Uluru, and likewise on the way back in to really maximise the time that we had out in the Red Centre.
Righto, what's next?
Okay, we stayed at a total mix of accommodation, and there is so many options out here on this route to stay at. So we stayed at free camps, including pub stays and roadhouses, which were awesome.
We love the pub stays. It's so good because you really get to meet the real characters. You get a real vibe for the location. And God, Australia's got some characters, hasn't it?
Especially out here in the outback, baby.
Love it.
Okay, we stayed within national parks and state reserves, Hipcamps, and we also stayed in some caravan parks. So all of the accommodation that we stayed in are included in the ebook as well, so you can see exactly where we stayed. Yeah. We used Wikicamps and the Hipcamps app to not only find but also be able to book some of these places, particularly the Hipcamps that you do need to book before you arrive. We didn't pre-book, and this is a question we get all the time. You know, how far in advance do we book our accommodation? How planned are we?
And we're pretty well right on the start of high season. So, you know, the recommendation would be if you can book, then yes, sure, book. But we didn't.
No. If there's a place that you know you definitely want to stay,
Good point.
particularly if it's got limited sites, the Coober Pedy Hipcamp, Coober Pedy Views at Karen's place is a perfect example. She does have more sites now than originally when we stayed with her 2 years ago, but they're still only limited. And if you know that you definitely want to stay there, then book it in advance.
Great.
For us, we were kind of booking as we were going and we didn't have any issues.
What was our cost?
Okay. Total cost for our accommodation was $580 approximately. I think it was a bit less than that. I rounded it up.
How good is that? That is, on average per day, $20 a day.
That's amazing.
It is amazing.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, we are kitted up to be off-grid. You know, we haven't plugged into power for over a year now.
Yeah.
So there's a big saving there, which is great. But yeah, $20 a night, we certainly made up for it in fuel costs.
Yeah. Yeah, we did.
That is unbelievable, isn't it? That's pretty good, 28 days.
Yeah, look, and you could potentially do this entire route free camping.
Sure.
There are so many places, even out at the heart of the Red Centre, out there at Uluru, there are free camps all along the Lassiter Highway that you could pull up and stay at.
Yeah, gravel pits, things like that, you know, sometimes not the prettiest of places, but some of them are absolute pearlers.
Yeah.
You know, like where we just stayed out at Winton. Loved it.
Oh, amazing.
Free.
So
yeah, it just sometimes will mean that you could be 50 kilometres out from where you want to be. So you've got to factor that in.
Exactly. You just took that out of my head. What's that called?
Connected.
Unagi. Yeah. We opted for really convenient as well this time because we were on the move all the time. We knew we had 28 days to do this. So we did opt for convenience a lot of the times. Okay, let's talk about our favourites.
Okay.
Best pub stay or best pub/roadhouse stay.
Barkley.
Yes! The Barkley Homestead in the Northern Territory. Recently reopened. We were so excited to be able to get there. Well, one, that the road was open and that we could get there because it suffered a lot of flood damage from earlier in the year.
It was closed when we left and we thought,
Yes.
I don't know how we're going to do this loop. It looks like we might have to double back, but there you go, it opened. So.
It did, and it was awesome. It was $15 a night for adults, $5 for kids. We stayed in the unpowered. They have a whole powered section, like a mini caravan park.
Yeah, it's great.
Which is amazing, pet
There's
friendly.
a pool. Yeah, it's just a remote area for a stay like this. We loved it. And the new Roadhouse they have built is...
Spot on.
It is. It's fantastic.
Awesome. And you can get everything there, obviously, fuel as well. You're in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Okay. Best free camp. We had two here because, there were so many and trying to narrow it down to one. So we decided we'd have one each. What was yours?
I'm going to have to say Mary Kathleen.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So much history and such a beautiful environment too.
It is fantastic. I mean, it's an old uranium mine. If you haven't watched that episode from a couple of weeks back, check that out because it's such a unique story.
Yeah, that was one that I'd sort of had, on my we've got to go there one day list from seeing everybody else travel there and not really knowing exactly where it was. And then when I realised, oh my gosh, we're actually going to be able to stay there.
And it wasn't actually on our itinerary and we had to change last minute. So there you go. We're glad that we stayed there and that we can tell everyone how good it was.
Yeah.
It's the sort of place you could literally go and unplug for a couple of weeks and just really be in that field, be in Australia.
Yeah. Awesome. So awesome. Okay. Mine, I loved Mary Kathleen. The other one for me was the Lake Hart Rest Stop in South Australia.
Nice.
So we are in between Port Augusta and Coober Pedy.
Yeah.
Amazing. We drove past it the first time we went up the Stewart Highway.
Yeah,
pulled in, had a look. To be able to go and stay, to see the sunset over the lake, the beautiful sunrise, just awesome. What's
amazing is there's this train line, right, that goes past it, and the trains come and go, but it didn't interfere with our peace.
No, we had the best
really
night's sleep there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good. And it's free. I mean, amazing.
Amazing.
Okay. Best national park / state park / conservation reserve.
Yes, okay, this is Devil's Marbles, Kalu Kalu Conservation Reserve.
Yeah.
Fantastic. we would love to spend longer there. It is such an incredible environment that just surprises you. I forgot how beautiful this place was.
It truly is amazing, and as soon as you arrive, you can understand why it is such a significant place for the Aboriginal people and the history that is here, and to be able to even access it and, you know, do the walk through the marbles and get up on top and look out over the landscape. And, you know, it's just not this one section of marbles. Like, I don't know how far they go, but hundreds of kilometres of these boulders. And
do you know, Australia, I guess because it's just so massive, the diversity in these landscapes and the epicness of them just absolutely blows your mind.
Yep.
It's just so good.
Just awesome. So there's a new system in play with the Northern Territory now. They do have a National Parks Pass in play, which is great. It means that money obviously is going to go into the upkeep of their national parks. Right. All booking online now, so very different from the first time we went there. But to stay there, it was $15 for the three of us, unpowered of course. Plus, we needed a National Parks Pass. So once you've got your National Parks Pass, then you pay for that once, depending on how long you get it for. But $15 a night for Devil's Marbles.
Bargain.
Just amazing. A good tip there, though, is there is no phone service, no Telstra, no Optus phone service. So you need to book that before you get out there while you've got service. Unless you have Starlink.
God for Starlink.
Yes.
God bless you, Elon Musk.
Yeah, I know. We say it all the time.
So
I wonder
good.
if his ears burn when we talk about him.
Probably.
Okay. Best hip camp. Now, we stayed at some really great hip camps, and again, we couldn't narrow it down to just one. There are three worthy of a mention.
Well,
one
for me, there's one, and that is at Becolden, and it is called Dunblane, the station name. Yeah. And the actual, he's got a number of sites that you can pick from, but they're like 4 kilometres apart or something ridiculous. Is McBride's Bore.
Yes, amazing. Yeah. Just awesome. I mean, who would think that a dusty old, you know, field in a sheep station could have so much appeal? We absolutely love this place.
Yeah, he does have an adjustment arrangement with 500 head of cattle as well, so you'll see plenty of those, plenty of wildlife, kangaroos, emus, jabberoos. I mean, it's quite unique place. And then, of course, the hot artesian spring that comes up and feeds this spa hot bath.
Oh my gosh.
Love it.
So good. Okay, so that was definitely the number one, but also worthy of mentioning. Coober Pedy views, Karen's place, just awesome. The best place to stay in Coober Pedy, we recommend. Those spectacular views. Karen is a fantastic host as well.
She's a bundle of joy. She really is just so energetic about her life and her decision to take this risk and move from the big smoke in Sydney and make this her life. It's amazing. Yeah,
you've got to love Coober Pedy. I mean, it'll never leave you. It'll never come out of your clothing. It'll never come out of your caravan. It's just awesome. And a new one for us this time around was Moralda Station in Coober in Outback New South Wales.
Yes, fair enough. Yeah, do you know what was so fantastic about this is that it's your first, you know, step into that deep red ochres of the Australian outback. Yeah. And located only 5 minutes out of the centre of Coober, 400-acre property. You honestly can feel like you are the only person on earth.
Yeah, we absolutely loved it, didn't we? Yeah, and great hosts. Jen was amazing. Okie dokie. Best caravan park.
Don't know.
He's thinking about it. And that's because it didn't really feel like a caravan park. And it is, of course, the overflow at Uluru at the Ayers Rock Resort. Now, we spoke about this in the episode. It's in the ebook, of course, as well. Our recommendation is if you can be off-grid, if you do not need to be hooked up to power or have access to water, do not book here. Just rock up and stay in the overflow. They don't take bookings for the overflow, but they only open the overflow when the caravan park is full.
Yes. Now, the reason is that the caravan park, although you're very close to the amenities, of course, you've got the resort-style pool, and you are closer to the action, that's for sure. Yeah. But you are packed in there, so you can barely open your awning. And look, you've come out to Uluru, you're not going to really spend your time at the van, are you?
No.
No. But having the overflow, having the ability to have an open fire. This
Yeah.
time they needed it raised off the ground, so our new fire pit was perfect for that. But having all that space, you know, your closest neighbour could be 500 metres or maybe 50 metres, but just to be able to kick the ball, us to be able to hang out and do what we want and feel like we weren't going to be interrupted or interrupt anyone else is a gift.
Well, it's staying at the caravan park and feeling like you're not staying at a caravan park, to be honest, and that's what we loved. At $45 a night, which is awesome. I mean, you can't complain about that when you're out here in this remote location.
Exactly. Everything is inflated out here.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's food, fuel, obviously, accommodation, whether you're towing or you're staying off-grid or whether you're staying in an accommodation hut or a cabin, you're definitely going to pay for the remote location of these areas.
Yep. Just be prepared for it, and it is what it is.
Yes.
Okay. Most amazing experience or experiences? For us, it was the people.
Oh, look, absolutely. Okay, so some of those people included Claire, the amazing woman from Cambridge that was riding around the world with Australia being her 8th country.
On her push bike.
A remarkable story, and her details are there for you to follow her journey as well. She's just made it to Perth and on her way out of Australia, actually.
Amazing.
And then Dr. Peter Hill, the quantum physicist, we met towing a skateboard through the outback out towards, you know, he was halfway between Broken Hill and Wilcannia on his way to Bourke, raising money to help illiterate kids or kids in the outback learn outback stories and gain literacy through his funding work that he was doing by himself.
Amazing, just truly inspirational, incredible stories of people. It is the best part of travelling, isn't it?
It really is, you know, and whether it is the guy serving the beer at the, you know, the pub, or sometimes the acoustic artist, or the camps that you go to and the people that you meet at those campsites. There's a richness about this. Most people that you meet travelling are either retired or on holiday.
Yeah.
You know,
happy. They're happy.
You know, and the community is there. People want to lend a hand. People want to give you advice, tell you the secret water hole, or, you know, give you a tool if you need it, or just people are so quick and willing to help. It's the best side of humanity that we have seen is during our travels in Oz.
Yeah, so true. Even all the crew from the Shitbox Rally, I mean, they were just crazy, awesome, fun. They all took time with Jasper to have a chat with him.
Amazing.
Yeah, so good. Okay, scariest moment.
Paying for fuel at Curtis Springs.
Yes,
$3.30.
Handing the card over at the counter.
It's under lock and key as well.
That was the scariest
because
moment.
It's like, you know, it's like going to a vault, isn't it? You know, it's the gold and the liquid going into your tank.
You know what? That was even scarier than our potential UFO sighting at Devil's Marbles.
Look, this is the thing, you know. Take us back 4 years ago. We were scared. I was scared of towing.
We were scared of everything.
Yeah, I thought the van was going to get stolen, or we were going to get attacked, or, you know, I mean, there's all these things that do go through your head, and do some of these things happen? No, like maybe, like once in a million years. Like it's very rare. So yeah, having any sort of fear around your travels, we would really encourage you just to try and overcome it by taking, you know, steps, doing your preparation. You know, we can talk about vehicle maintenance, making sure your vehicle is serviced and that you've got it absolutely kitted up with the things that are going to not only save you from getting in trouble, but get you out of trouble if you do get into trouble.
Yes.
Having communications, you know, whether that's a portable satellite device like the Garmin InReach Mini that we use, or Starlink, you know, is it an
UHF radio?
You know, an expense, some of these things, yes, but for the peace of mind and for what it actually gives you by way of value.
Yep.
And convenience and just making your experience better, we would say do it. We will put the list of all of the gear, whether we're affiliated or not, into the ebook with links so that you can check it out. Where we can, we do ask for feel-good discount codes. You'll be able to see all of that, but it's all there, clickable in the ebook as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And some of these things that we're talking about in terms of just being prepared before you go. And also in our Travel Australia ebook, our ultimate guide, we go into a lot of detail there around road safety and how to prepare and communications and all of those things to really try and take the stress and worry out of it.
I just had an idea.
Yeah, it's
we'll
okay.
bundle the Ultimate Australia Travel Guide ebook, because that has been a massive bestseller for us as far as our ebooks, with
Ooh, okay.
our Uluru ebook as well. So if you haven't already got that and you want to bundle them together, then we'll make it
Great idea.
much more affordable. So
Okay, we shall do that.
Done.
Stay tuned for that. All right, while we're talking about, being prepared and things to know, obviously road safety is a big thing, particularly out here in the outback, because you are on more remote roads. As we said, they're all bitumen, but you're going to encounter things like road trains. I mean, in Queensland, they can be up to 53 metres long, which it's massive when one's coming past you. So
it's
there's
an Olympic pool going past you. Or if you've got to overtake, which we wouldn't recommend you do, but look, there might be an instance when you have to do that.
Yep.
You need to obviously really be able to communicate using your UHF radio. And we'll go into detail about that as well, not only in the episodes that we've just produced in this series, but in the ebook as well.
Yeah, so drive to the conditions. You've spoken about, servicing and being prepared with spare parts and whatnot.
On the servicing, we have partnered with McCormack's, Bodie McCormack and his team there. They're in Sandgate in Queensland, 15-20 minutes out of Brisbane City. You can get a 10% discount on servicing your vehicle, your tow vehicle there. These guys are touring experts. They've been every road trip, the Simpson, the Cape, you name it.
Yeah.
They know what they're talking about, and they will look after you. So if you do want to book in for a service, whether you're going up or down the East Coast, we can definitely recommend that.
Oh, they're good people.
They are, and they're family-owned business, 65 years, and they do a great job. They service our vehicle every time we're back here.
Yes,
So,
they do.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, other things to consider, the weather and the road conditions. And there's some great apps as well. A lot of the states and territories have their own traffic or road condition app, which we use the NT one to monitor that Barkley Highway to see if it was going to open for us. So make sure you've got those. Also, the Fires Australia app is a really great one.
Great.
There's plenty around weather.
All right, time for us to wrap it up. Now, there's just a few more things that we want to cover off quickly on what you need to know before you go. The first one we would say is respect the wishes of the local culture, okay? Whether that is, don't climb this, don't photograph this section, or, don't use your drone here, or whatever it is. Unless you have got a permit or prior request that's been granted, just stick to the rules, stick to the requests so that these places can remain open for other travellers and for the generations coming through, because they are incredible locations with rich history that can absolutely add value to every Australian.
Yeah, perfectly said, Paul. And there's nothing outlandish, the requests aren't crazy, and it's certainly something that we can all respect, as you said, Paul.
Yeah, embrace it.
You're going
It is
out
awesome.
into the centre of Australia. You're going to have incredible cultural experiences.
This is the oldest continuous living culture on Earth. I mean,
It's amazing.
it is amazing.
Yeah.
Some of the petroglyphs that we saw out there in the East Max, I mean, they date them back somewhere around 10,000 years old.
Yeah, incredible.
I mean, it is amazing.
Yeah, just awesome. All right, expect the inflated costs. Go in with that mindset of it is what it is. We know what we're going to, have to pay for certain things. Then it's going to take the stress, the frustration out of it on the trip. You're going out here, just know and accept it before you leave.
Be aware of the alcohol restrictions
another really good point.
that are in play, particularly again now in the Northern Territory. And again, just stick to the rules, but be prepared that there are restrictions around those things.
Don't forget your quarantine border checkpoints like we did. Now, that's a big one, and we will put links
I don't
and
think
information.
it's a we. I think it was you. This is
Hey!
That's on your list.
Okay, be prepared for that.
It's
South
an
Australia.
expensive mistake, and there is nothing worse than watching someone take a bag of all your produce and put it in a bin. I mean, it's just...
Well, there's only so many grapes I could stuff into my
There's a
teeth.
sign there that says you're not allowed to
I know.
consume.
He let me eat them.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, I hope he gets in trouble for that.
Okay, something else is that there's plenty of access to water fill points on this entire route. So if you are towing out there, taking a motorhome out there, and you're going to need to be filling up with water, plenty of places to do that within those 300 to 400 kilometre daily Ks that we did. So Hipcamps is great for that.
Fantastic.
Yep, other apps, maps, resources we used, obviously, Hipcamps. We used the trip planner this time.
Yeah, very cool.
It was really cool. Yeah, so we'll put that in the ebook as well. The Hipcamp app, Google, Apple Maps, SciGig is a great one.
Look, all our apps, maps, resources, everything that you need to know is all clickable and in the ebook.
Yeah.
So you can check that out there.
Awesome. I think the last thing to say is that, like, this is one of the ultimate road trips to do in the country. It is just spectacular. I don't know, being out there, it moves you in a way that you don't expect or anticipate, and it changes you whether you're aware of it or not, I think. It is something that we would suggest everybody, whether you're Australian or whether you're coming to visit our country for a certain amount of time, should get out and experience.
Absolutely. And if you want to have a UFO sighting, well, they're called UAPs now, I've learnt.
Right.
Unidentified aerial phenomena.
There you go.
Yes, okay. Be prepared.
It was
You can't prepare
phenomenal.
for abduction, though. But anyway.
They were coming in peace, though. It was a very peaceful moment.
You've got salmon on the barbecue.
Exactly. All right, we're wrapping it up. We actually are wrapping it up. We are packing up camp. We are going to hitch up and head off on our next epic adventure back to the Northern Territory.
Look out, can you believe it? We just came from there. Why didn't we just stop up there?
Yeah.
Now, if you haven't already, jump on and check out our podcast. As we mentioned, it is awesome. It is a weekly podcast, and there's, I think, now over 10,000 listeners a month on that.
Awesome.
It's amazing. It's free, and it's available on, I think, 12 different podcast directories.
Fantastic. And if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel and you love our content, we would love you to do that. It's a great way for you to be able to show your support to us, and that all helps in us continuing to share these amazing adventures and destinations with you every week as well.
Excellent. And visit our website, thefeelgoodfamily.com, so that you can tap into all those free resources and jump onto our weekly e-newsletter that goes out with everything that we are up to travelling this awesome country of ours. All right,
Fantastic.
For now, that's it.
Thanks, guys.
We better go and see where Jasper is. We haven't heard a peep out of him, which sometimes makes us worry.
Yes.
All right, dream big and look after yourself and look after your family.
Happy trails.
Bye. Thanks for watching. Please do like, subscribe and share our channel. And if you'd like more information on full-time RV travel and living, visit our website, thefeelgoodfamily.com. There you'll find loads of free resources, our weekly podcast, caravan cooking recipes, our monthly Go RV magazine articles, and much more. We look forward to seeing you next week. Take care of yourself and your family, and happy trails.